You wake on the hard earth, the smell of smoke and damp fur clinging to you like another skin. Your body aches in the familiar way, hips bruised by stones beneath the bedding of dry grass, ribs stiff from the cold night air. Above you, the sky is pale and without mercy. The dawn has come again, whether you want it or not. You lift your head. The fire is only a faint glow now, a belly of red embers breathing in silence. Around it, bodies stir. Some groan, others turn over, clinging to warmth that does not exist. A child coughs in the distance, high and sharp. A woman murmurs back in comfort, her voice low, instinctive. These sounds are ordinary, like the snapping of branches in the wind. They should soothe you, but today they do not. The smell is wrong. You know it instantly. Not the sweetness of roasted flesh from last night's feast, not the simple musk of sweat and ash, but something sour, heavy, clinging to the air. You sit up, your chest tightens. There, not far from where you slept, lies the carcass. The animal you killed yesterday, the great beast whose fall had made your blood sing, now sprawls in the dirt, untouched, rotting. Its hide is torn, its belly slack, flies already claiming the gift before your tribe has finished with it. The others had eaten their fill yesterday, tearing at fat and marrow, gnawing until bellies swelled. The children had squealed, grease shining on their cheeks. Even the old ones, those with fewer teeth than bones in their backs, had taken from the feast. And you had been proud, too proud. You remember the way you struck. The others had held back, cautious, murmuring warnings, but you had lunged, wild, unstoppable, driving your spear too deep, again and again, until the animal's body shuddered and stilled. Triumph burned in you like fire. You had laughed, loud, fearless, showing your strength. Now the meat lies wasted. Your people stir awake, eyes falling on the carcass, and already their faces twist. A man coughs, spits into the dirt. A woman pulls the child away, as if even the air around the beast might poison. No one speaks. There are no words, not yet, for waste, but you see it in their eyes. Suspicion. Something in your chest writhes, not hunger, though your stomach clenches, not fear, though you know well the feeling of danger. No, this is different, heavier, unshakable. It spreads like cold water spilled inside your ribs. Last night you were a hero. Today you are the fool who killed more than you could carry. Your people stir awake, eyes falling on the carcass, and already their faces twist. A man coughs, spits into the dirt. A woman pulls a child away, as if even the air around the beast might poison. No one speaks. There are no words, not yet, for waste, but you see it in their eyes. Suspicion. Something in your chest writhes, not hunger, though your stomach clenches, not fear, though you know well the feeling of danger. No, this is different, heavier, unshakable. It spreads like cold water spilled inside your ribs. Last night you were a hero. Today you are the fool who killed more than you could carry. Your people stir awake, eyes falling on the carcass, and already their faces twist. A man coughs, spits into the dirt. A woman pulls a child away, as if even the air around the beast might poison. No one speaks. There are no words, not yet, for waste, but you see it in their eyes. Suspicion. Something in your chest writhes. Not hunger, though your stomach clenches. Not fear, though you know well the feeling of danger. No, this is different, heavier, unshakable. It spreads like cold water spilled inside your ribs. The morning grows brighter, cruelly bright. Shadows shrink, the flies thicken around the carcass. Their buzzing fills your skull, louder than voices. It is as if the animal itself still accuses you, even in death, swarming with 1,000 black eyes that say, "You wasted me. You failed me. You failed them." Your people move about, gathering, muttering, preparing for the long walk to the river. No one looks directly at you, yet every step, every cough, every rustle of grass seems to carry weight, pressing on your chest until you cannot breathe. You feel alone, though you are surrounded. And then the hunger returns, not the simple hunger of the belly, but the deeper hunger, the one that claws at your heart. Hunger not for meat, not for marrow, but for release. You crave a word that does not exist. You crave to push the heaviness out of your chest, to name it, to be freed from it. But there is nothing. Only the spoiled beast, the buzzing flies, the silence of your people, and the ache that you cannot name. It is the first time you realize something terrifying. Even if you live, even if the tribe eats again, even if the hunt tomorrow is perfect, this weight will not leave you. And you know, though you cannot say it, that something inside you has changed forever. The sun climbs, and with it the noise of life. Feet shuffling, wood cracking under careful hands, the faint splash of water poured from a skin. The tribe is alive again, yet you feel yourself set apart, as if you are not of them, but only watching from some great distance. You walk to the stream that trickles near the camp, cupping water in your palms, splashing it against your face. It is cold, sharp, almost cruel against your skin. And for a moment you hope it might wash away the heaviness pressing on your chest. But when you lift your head, gasping, the feeling remains. Behind you, voices rise. They do not speak in words, not as your children's children will someday speak. But there are sounds, guttural calls, sharp notes, low growls. You understand them as you understand the clouds that promise rain or the silence that warns of a predator. And though none of these sounds are shaped into the meaning you crave, you hear their message all the same. They speak of you. The woman with the long braid of twisted grass points toward the carcass. Her voice is edged, her face tight. A man shrugs as if to say, "It has done." But the shrug is not forgiveness, it is dismissal. A child tugs at her mother's arm, eyes wide, staring at you, staring too long. And that is when you feel it most keenly, the weight of eyes. Not one pair, but many. Glances stolen and hidden, never meeting yours directly. Yet you feel them on your back, on your shoulders, crawling up the side of your neck. They burn hotter than the sun. You cannot escape them. The others think you do not notice, but you feel their silence as one feels the shift of the wind before a storm. You squat beside the water, tracing a line in the mud with your finger, a meaningless line, and yet it calms you for a heartbeat. But when you glance up, you find the boy still watching. He is thin, ribs sharp as the bones you cracked yesterday from marrow. His lips are slick with spit, his hunger plain. He looks at you as though you are both savior and curse. And something stirs in you, a pang deeper than hunger, deeper than thirst. If you had killed less, there might still be food today. If you had killed less, this boy would not look at you with those hollow eyes. You shake your head as though the thought itself were dangerous, but it clings. By midday, the carcass is dragged away. 2 men haul it by its legs, dragging it far from camp to let the flies keep their feast without infecting the air. You should have been among them, showing strength, showing usefulness, but you linger near the fire instead, spearing the dirt with a stick, pretending you do not see their glances. A woman passes you, her basket of berries held tight against her chest. They are not many, small, half-green, bitter. She will feed them to her children first. She does not look at you, yet her body moves wide around you, as though some sickness clings to your skin. You remember when she would sit close, leaning into the warmth of your side during cold nights. That was before yesterday, before the wasted meat, before this new thing. And you ask yourself, what has changed? The world is the same. The trees stand, the fire burns, the river runs. The tribe still lives, still breathes, still hungers. And yet the space between you and them has grown vast, a chasm that no step can cross. It is not their eyes alone that condemn you. It is your own. You cannot escape the vision, the beast falling, the spear driving too deep, the rush of blood. You see it not once, but again and again, as if the earth itself wishes to remind you of your folly. By the time the sun begins to lean westward, the hunger gnaws louder. The people stir, restless, preparing for another hunt. But you know it will not be today. Bellies too weak, spears too few, the memory of waste too fresh. Instead, they will walk the forest for roots, berries, what scraps can be found. A poor meal, but better than none. You do not rise to go with them. One man tall, with a scar cutting across his cheek, glares at you as he passes. His eyes are sharp stones, hard and unyielding. He does not need words to say what he thinks. The hunter who does not hunt is no hunter at all. You lower your gaze, your chest aches. The tribe leaves in a scattered line, the grass bending beneath their steps until the sound of them fades into the forest. Only a few remain, an old woman with hair white as ash, too frail to walk far, 2 children too young to be of use, and you. The silence is heavier now. You sit near the dying fire, staring at the ash as though it holds some secret. The air smells of char and damp earth, but underneath it lingers the faint sourness of the carcass, still clinging, refusing to be forgotten. The children play at the edge of camp, tumbling in the dirt. One of them, the boy with the ribs, glances at you again. This time he does not look away. His gaze is steady, unblinking, as though he waits for something from you, something you cannot give. What could you offer? Food? You have none. Strength? It has left you. Words? There are no words. So you turn away, but the gaze follows you inward. Even when you close your eyes, you see him there, hungry, waiting. You feel the weight of his eyes more than the heat of the sun, more than the ache in your own belly. It is unbearable. You rise suddenly, as though movement itself could free you, and walk to the edge of camp. The forest looms, dark, impenetrable. Shadows shift in the undergrowth, promises of danger or salvation. For a wild moment you think of running into it alone, letting the trees swallow you, letting the beasts tear you apart. Better that than these eyes. But your feet do not move. Instead, you crouch at the edge, hands gripping the dirt, chest heaving. You stare into the darkness between the trees, and you whisper without sound, shaping with your lips the thing you long for, but cannot name. You long to say, "Forgive me." But no one hears. No word exists. Only the forest listens, indifferent. Behind you, the boy laughs suddenly, shrill, sharp, as if mocking your silent prayer. The old woman coughs, the fire cracks, and still the weight of eyes presses down, unrelenting, until you begin to wonder if you will ever be free of them again.
The day stretches long and thin, like sinew pulled to breaking. You remain by the fire, while the others vanish into the forest. The embers glow faintly, a red heartbeat in the ash, and you stir them without purpose. A thin smoke rises, curling into your eyes, stinging. You welcome the sting. It distracts you from the hollow gnawing that has already begun in your belly. Hunger is not new to you. Hunger has always been there, faithful as the moon. You know its voice, sharp, insistent, the way it coils around your ribs and drags your body into weakness. But today it feels sharper, more personal, as though it speaks directly into your chest. It tells you, this is your doing. You close your eyes and try to silence it, but hunger is patient, relentless. It will not be silenced. The old woman mutters to herself nearby, plucking at the ends of her tangled hair, her hands trembling with the thinness of her skin. She once walked with the hunters, carrying the kill on her back, but now she is as brittle as dry bark. Her voice is cracked stone, meaningless sounds. Yet in those broken murmurs you hear accusation too. Or perhaps it is only your mind twisting everything against you. The children squabble over a broken bone left from yesterday's feast. They scrape it with sharp stones, chasing flecks of marrow, no larger than grains of sand. One licks the edge, smears the taste across his lips, groans as though it were honey. Their small quarrels pierce you deeper than any wound. If you had not struck too hard, too many times, there might still be marrow, still be fat. You press your palms to your face and rock forward. The world is too loud with absence, the absence of food, the absence of laughter, the absence of forgiveness. And then, as hunger digs deeper, memory returns. You remember your father, not as he was in strength, but as he was in the end. His body bent, hollow, his hands shaking as he reached for scraps that were not there. You were small then, ribs sharp as the boy's are now. You remember watching your father fade as a fire fades when the wood runs out. His eyes had sunk deep, and yet there had been something in them, something you did not understand then but feel now in yourself. Was it regret? He had not spoken, not in words, but in his silence, his heavy breathing, his restless shifting at night. You sense it now. He had felt this too, the weight, the sorrow of failing those who depended on him. And then he was gone. You open your eyes, chest tight as though death itself presses against you. The memory is too sharp. You rise and pace the camp, circling like a trapped beast. Your feet kick dust, your hands clench. The old woman watches you with her clouded eyes, but she says nothing. By late afternoon, the hunters return. Their baskets sag with roots, twisted and bitter. A few berries, small as fingernails. Hardly enough. The people gather, sharing what little there is. They chew slowly, forcing their mouths to believe it is food. You accept nothing, not because they do not offer. They do, in silence, pushing a few shriveled berries toward you. But your chest is too heavy, your throat too tight. The idea of swallowing them feels like theft. You shake your head and step back. A murmur runs through the group, sharp, uncertain. One man glares, the scarred one from before, his jaw tight. His eyes say, "If you refuse, then you think yourself better than us." But the truth is worse. You think yourself worse. You sit apart, knees pulled to your chest, watching them chew. The children fight over a root, tearing it in half, their teeth scraping bark more than flesh. The sound grates against you, and again you see your father, his hunger, his death. And you wonder, will the boy with the ribs die the same way because of you? The thought sinks its claws deep. The sun lowers, shadows stretching long across the ground. The tribe grows quiet, their voices heavy with weariness. Some lie down, clutching their bellies. Others stare into nothing. Hunger is not loud anymore. It is a silence, a stillness, a weight. And you, caught in the center of it, feel yourself unraveling. You stand and wander to the edge of camp again. The forest hums with life, insects, birds, the rustle of unseen animals. The smell of damp leaves and soil rises, rich and alive. It mocks you. The world is full, overflowing, yet your people starve. You lean against a tree, forehead pressed to its rough bark. Splinters bite your skin, but you do not move. You whisper into the cracks, though no one can hear. If only I had stopped. If only I had waited. The words are shapeless, but the meaning burns in you. You replay the moment of the hunt, again and again, the spear, the rush, the fall, the others shouting behind you to hold, to wait, and you ignoring them, drunk with power. The animal collapsing in its last shudder. Too much, too soon. And each time you replay it, the ache grows sharper, the hunger deeper, until you no longer know which gnaws harder, your stomach or your soul. Night comes. The tribe curls into themselves, bodies pressed together for warmth. Children whimper, then fall silent. The old woman mutters until her voice fades into sleep. You lie apart. The stars wheel above, countless and cold. You stare at them until your eyes blur. They don't care. They watch without pity, without judgment. Yet even in their indifference, you feel exposed, as though the whole sky sees what you have done. And again, memory returns. Not of your father this time, but of the animal's eyes. You had seen them just before the final blow. Wide, dark, filled not with fury, but with something else. Something like recognition. As if it knew what you were, as if it had already judged you. You squeeze your eyes shut, but the vision remains, carved into your skull. You roll onto your side, curl into yourself, fists pressed against your chest, as though you could dig the ache out with your own hands. But it will not leave. It whispers to you, steady, merciless. You have done wrong. You have taken more than was needed. You have brought hunger. You have brought sorrow. And for the first time in all your life, you do not fight hunger. Do not endure it. Do not wait for the hunt to ease it. You simply lie there, crushed under it, and know it will never leave you. This is more than hunger. This is memory, sharpened by regret. And it will haunt you until the end.
The night deepens. The fire collapses to a bed of dim embers, glowing like the eyes of something half asleep. Around it, your people lie together in clusters, tangled as roots, bodies pressed to bodies, breath mingling with breath, the warmth of flesh the only shield against the endless cold. You lie apart. The earth beneath you is harder here, colder. The grass offers no comfort, only scratches against your skin. You pull the fur closer around your shoulders, but it is thin, and the ache of emptiness in your belly seeps through every layer, leaving you shivering. And then you feel her. At first, it is only the shift of air, the brush of a shadow. Then, the warmth of a body lowering beside yours. The scent of smoke, sweat, and wild grass fills your nose. She does not speak. There are no words to speak. She presses close, her thigh against yours, her hand seeking your chest. It is the woman who once avoided your gaze, the one who carried berries wide around you this morning. Now, in the dark, she lies against you as if there were no chasm at all. You do not resist. How could you? Her skin is warm, softer than the earth, her hair rough strands against your face. The hunger inside you, different from the hunger of the belly, stirs, sharp, insistent. You pull her closer. The act is quick, urgent, a rhythm as old as fire. Her breath is hot against your neck, her nails scrape your back. There is no tenderness, no gentleness, only the body remembering itself. When it is over, she lies beside you, chest heaving, her warmth lingering. The night is filled with the sound of others shifting, murmuring, coupling in their own corners. It is nothing unusual. No one speaks of it in the morning. No one ever does. Yet tonight it feels different. For when the hunger of the body is sated, another hunger rises in its place. You lie awake, staring at the stars beyond the cave mouth, and all you feel is emptiness. Not the satisfied stillness that once followed such nights, not the easy sleep of flesh conquered, but something heavier, the same weight that has followed you since the carcass began to rot. Her breath slows beside you, deepens, drifts into sleep. You should feel comfort in her nearness, but instead her warmth is a reminder, even in closeness, you are apart. She has shared her body, but not her eyes. In the morning she will avoid your gaze again, and you wonder, what is this hunger that cannot be fed? You turn onto your side, curling inward. The earth is merciless beneath your hip. Your mind, restless, begins its cruel replay again. The animal's eyes, the wasted meat, the boy's hollow stare. Each image presses against you more fiercely than her body ever did. For the first time you realize that flesh cannot drown thought. No matter how tightly you hold her, no matter how deeply you bury yourself in her warmth, the ache remains, unyielding. What is wrong with you? Others do not carry this weight. You hear them even now, soft grunts, laughter muffled in the dark, the rhythm of survival. They live as they always have, taking, consuming, sleeping, waking. They do not lie awake with eyes open to the stars, trapped beneath visions of what cannot be undone. Why then do you? You remember the old woman's mutterings, her cracked voice spilling sounds into the night. Perhaps she too carries this thing. Perhaps she too remembers mistakes that cannot be buried. But no one listens to her. No one will listen to you. The woman beside you shifts, sighs, presses closer. You smell the salt of her skin, the faint sweetness of crushed berries lingering on her breath. Once this would have filled you with pride, proof of strength, of life, of belonging. Now it feels like a lie. You close your eyes, desperate for sleep, but sleep will not come. The stars burn overhead, indifferent, eternal, while you lie in the dirt with a body pressed against you and a heart heavier than stone. In the silence of your chest, a thought forms, strange, fragile, dangerous. What if the body is not enough? What if the hunger of the flesh is small compared to the hunger of the soul? That terrifies you. You curl tighter, fists clenched, as if you could crush it before it grows. But already it grows. Already it whispers of something greater, something beyond. You do not know the word for it. There is no word, but you feel it all the same. Regret. It fills you even here, in the arms of another, especially here. And you know, as the night deepens and her breath steadies against your shoulder, that even in the closest embrace, you are utterly alone.
The fire is reborn. The hunters feed it with cracked branches, the women with twisted handfuls of dry grass, and soon the smoke spirals thick into the cave's mouth, a dull ribbon in the night. The tribe gathers in its glow, as they always do, bodies painted in the flickering red of survival. You sit among them, but apart. They chew on scraps of root, on bitter berries, on the sinew of a rabbit caught that morning. Their jaws move with the rhythm of necessity. Teeth grind, breath wheezes, fingers tear. The sound fills the air with the same cadence as the fire's popping wood. You have no appetite. The rabbit is passed toward you, but your hands do not move. Hunger gnaws at your belly, but a deeper hunger gnaws harder, the need to release what coils in your chest. Your eyes roam over their faces, each cast in firelight. The boy with the hollow gaze, staring past the flames as if through them. The woman who came to you in the dark, now pressing food into her child's mouth without meeting your eyes. The old woman, half shadow, her lips twitching with mutters only she hears. Their silence is not silence. It is full, heavy, like a skin stretched tight over the tribe. You want to break it. The urge shocks you. Never before has your throat burned with such fire. Words, no, not words, but sounds, pile against your tongue, strange, raw. They claw at you like trapped animals, desperate for release. You open your mouth. Nothing comes, only the hiss of fire. The others shift, murmur, cough. A child whimpers. His mother soothes him. And you sit there, jaw clenched, the unspoken swelling until your chest aches. What would you even say? There is no shape in your people's sounds for forgive me, no gesture for I am sorry. The tribe knows hunger, fear, desire, rage. They do not know this thing that drags at your ribs like a stone. Still, you try. A low grunt escapes your throat. Heads turn toward you. Eyes glimmer in the firelight, startled. You feel their gaze like spears against your skin. Your hand rises, trembling, and points not to the fire, not to the food, but to your chest, to yourself. The boy's stare sharpens. The hunters frown. A woman tilts her head, confused. You grunt again, louder, pushing air from deep inside. It is not language, but it is desperate. Your hand slaps your chest once, twice, then spreads open toward them, toward the boy, toward the woman, toward the circle. They do not understand. Of course they do not. A nervous chuckle ripples from one of the hunters. Another shakes his head, muttering something under his breath. The old woman cackles softly, rocking back and forth, as if your failed sound has joined her secret chorus of nonsense. Shame burns hotter than the fire. The tribe turns away, the circle closing without you. They resume their chewing, their murmurs, their laughter. Your attempt vanishes into the crackling wood as if it never happened. But you know it did. Inside you, the sound still echoes. Not the sound you made, but the one you wanted. The shape of it, ghostly, aching, incomplete. A word that does not yet exist, but presses to be born. You stare at the boy across the fire. He stares back, hollow-eyed. In him you see the reflection of the beast's wasted carcass, the flies, the slow collapse of meat to earth. The memory is alive in both of you. And in your throat, a sob rises. It breaks out before you can stop it, a jagged, ugly noise, sharper than any grunt of hunger or cry of pain. It slices the firelit air in two. The circle freezes. Every head turns. The boy's eyes widen. The woman clutches her child. The hunters stare as though you've brought an animal into their midst. You bow your head, clutching your chest, rocking forward as the sound tears free again, lower this time, but raw. You do not mean to do it, but it comes. Your whole body trembles with it. It is confession, not of the mouth, not of words, but of the soul, naked, spilling into the firelight. The tribe recoils. They do not know this sound. It frightens them. The old woman cackles louder, rocking wildly, as if she alone understands. The boy does not move, his eyes locked to yours, his face hollow, unreadable. Then, quiet. You choke the sound down. Your chest heaves, but no more noise escapes. The silence returns, heavier than before. The others shift uneasily. The hunters exchange glances. The woman beside the child murmurs something soothing. One by one, they look away. The circle reforms, closing against you. But you know what you have done. You have made something new. Not a word, not yet, but a sound that carries weight, a sound born of regret. And though no one else understands, though they look at you now with fear, suspicion, pity, though you sit outside the circle of fire, you feel a terrible certainty. You will never again be able to remain silent. The hunger in your belly is nothing compared to this hunger, the hunger to speak.
Your body betrays you. The hunters rise at dawn, voices sharp as stone, their feet quick across the damp grass. They string the bows, check the spears, sniff the air like animals, searching for the day's promise. You do not rise. Your bones ache as if the marrow has rotted. Your muscles feel heavy, sodden like hides soaked in river water. Hunger gnaws, but the thought of chasing, of killing, of sinking your teeth into raw flesh fills you with a sour dread. The tribe notices. They glance at you with narrow eyes. One mutters, another spits. The boy, always staring, watches you from a shadow of stone. His eyes accuse you without sound. When they leave, you remain. You tell yourself you are ill, that your body has betrayed you in some ordinary way, the way fevers sometimes burn men hollow, the way wounds rot, the way women sometimes bleed and do not stop. But in your chest, you know, it is not the body that is sick. It is the inside. That night, the dreams come. You lie curled near the fire. The warmth offers no comfort. Your lids close. At once you fall into a darkness that feels deeper than caves. In the dream, bones scatter across the ground. Your bones, perhaps, or the tribe's, you cannot tell. They turn brittle, crumble to ash with the touch of a child's finger. The children laugh as they point, their teeth sharp, their eyes black hollows.
Behind them, animals scream, not hunted, not buying, screaming endlessly, as though they too have swallowed your regret. The sound shreds the air until you wake choking. Your eyes snap open to firelight. The others sleep. Only the boy is awake, watching you again. His face is pale in the glow, unreadable. You close your eyes, but the screaming still echoes. The days pass. You walk, but slower. You eat, but the meat tastes of ash. You drink from the stream, but the water tastes of rot. The world itself seems infected. Once you see a rabbit in the grass. It startles, bolts. You raise your hand as if to throw a stone, but your arm drops. The urge to kill drains from you, replaced by the memory of the wasted carcass crawling with flies. You stumble back to the cave empty-handed. The hunters return later, carrying bloodied hides, heavy with meat. They throw you looks of contempt as they divide the kill. You chew the meat because you must, but each bite is heavy, sour. Your stomach heaves. It is not just food. It is everything. The sky seems heavier. The wind carries whispers. Even the fire seems cruel, snapping at you with little teeth of flame. You wonder, is the sickness in you, or has the world itself shifted? One morning, you catch your reflection in the river. The water is still. Your face stares back, hollow-eyed, jaw slack, skin drawn tight. You do not recognize it. It is as if the sickness has carved a new creature inside your skin. For the first time, you feel yourself separate from the others. They are bodies, alive, hunting, feeding. You are something else, a body dragged down by thought. You kneel by the river, trembling. A stone lies near your hand. For a moment, you imagine smashing the reflection, shattering your own face into ripples. Your hand rises, your fingers clutch the stone, but you do not throw it. Instead, you let it drop. The splash breaks your reflection anyway, scattering it into pieces that never rejoin. At night, the dreams grow sharper. You dream of the boy. His eyes glow in the dark. He follows you into the forest, into the river, into your very chest. When you try to turn, he is already there, waiting, watching. You dream of the woman who pressed her child to her breast. She looks at you, lips bloodless, and then pulls the child away as if from poison. You dream of animals standing upright, circling you, whispering in voices that almost form words. The sickness of thought is no longer yours alone. It bleeds outward. The whole world hums with it. The old woman begins to laugh at you in the daylight. Her toothless mouth opens, and from it comes a cackle sharp as flint striking stone. She points her crooked finger at you and mutters strings of sound the tribe ignores. But you feel her eyes burrow into your chest. She sees it, the rot inside you. Sometimes you catch the boy watching her as she laughs. His gaze slides from her face to yours, back again, as though measuring some invisible thread between you. You begin to wonder if you have carried something into the tribe, something contagious. Not sickness of body, but sickness of mind. The hunters grow restless. They glance at the boy more often, at you less. The women hush their children when your shadow passes. And yet, something stirs beneath their fear, a murmur, a ripple. When you grunt in your sleep, they wake. When you mutter strange sounds to yourself by the river, they whisper. When you fall into silence too deep, they shift uneasily, as if silence itself is dangerous. It spreads. Not words, not yet, but questions. And questions, like disease, do not stay still. One night, the dreams return fiercer than before. You see the carcass again, only this time it is not animal, but human. Limbs twisted, ribs cracked open. Flies crawl over the face. You lean closer. It is your face. Your stomach knots. You reach down to touch it, but the corpse's eyes snap open, your own eyes glaring. Its mouth opens, and from it spills not words, not screams, but the sound you know well, the sound of regret. You jolt awake, throat raw, chest heaving. Sweat soaks your skin. Across the fire, the boy watches. He does not look away. The next day, your legs tremble when you stand. Your hands shake when you hold even a stick. The others see it. Their eyes flash. You hear mutters behind your back, words too soft to catch, but sharp enough to cut. You stumble from the cave into the grass, into the trees, alone. The world tilts. Every branch looks like bone. Every shadow looks like eyes. The air hums with whispers. You lean against a tree, sliding down its bark. Your breath rasps. You press your hands to your skull as if you could dig the thoughts out with your fingers. You are sick, yes, but not in the way they think. The sickness is not in your flesh. It is the weight of what you now know, that the world itself can change inside you, that memory can rot you more than hunger, that silence can be louder than screams, that regret can make the whole earth feel poisoned. You close your eyes. You whisper sounds that mean nothing, but to you they are prayer, confession, plea. The forest does not answer. Only the boy's eyes, bright in memory, watching, always watching.
The cave feels narrower each night. The walls press in, not with stone, but with silence. You hear it in the way the tribe speaks around you, not to you. Their words circle like smoke, never drifting your way. At meals the hides are spread, the meat torn and passed. The choice pieces, the liver, the soft marrow, go quickly from hand to hand. You wait. Always you wait. By the time they glance toward you, the bones are stripped, the skin gnawed, the taste gone. Scraps. Always scraps. You chew them slowly, though the others already lean back, full, laughing. The sound grates like stone dragged across stone. One evening, when the fire burns bright, a man, one you once hunted beside, sits across from you. His eyes glint. His voice rises in mockery. He mimics your silence, your way of staring into the flames. He hunches his shoulders, opens his mouth in an empty gape, makes noises like a wounded beast. For a breath, the others freeze. Then laughter erupts. It crashes through the cave, louder than the fire, sharper than flint. They clutch their bellies, roll against the stone. Even the children join, pointing, squealing. Your chest burns, not with anger, something deeper, stranger. You watch their faces twist with mirth, and you know they fear you, but fear is easiest hidden as laughter. You lower your head, you let them laugh, but the sound brands you deeper than any cut. Afterwards you rise, step outside. The night air is cold, the sky is black, pierced with stars. You breathe deeply, but even the air feels thin, like water slipping through your fingers. You sit alone on the grass. You think of when you were not alone, when laughter was yours as well, when the hunt was not heavy, but simple. It feels like a dream you once lived, now fading. But you notice things others miss. You see the woman, the same who clutches her child, turn her face slightly when the mocking laughter grows too loud. Her eyes flicker as if she remembers something she does not want to. You see a hunter's jaw clench, though his mouth still smiles. You see a youth linger too long at the river, staring at his reflection with an expression you know well. They bury it quickly, but you see. They too have felt it, not the full sickness, not the weight that bends your bones, but little stabs, flashes. A child dies in the night, and a mother's hand trembles when she lays it down. An animal screams too long in the trap, and a hunter looks away before the knife falls. A piece of meat burns in the fire, and someone sighs, though they hide it quickly. It flickers, small, sharp, gone. But you see it. Always you see it. In the daylight they avoid you. Their steps veer slightly, their voices hush when you pass. You become a shadow moving through them. Yet shadows are noticed, always noticed. The boy still watches. His eyes never leave you. If the others see, they say nothing. The old woman sometimes laughs, sometimes mutters, sometimes simply stares with toothless silence. Her gaze, more than laughter, cuts deepest. It is as though she knows where this path leads. One night, as the fire crackles low, the same man who mocked you laughs again. He tries to spark the tribe's joy by pointing at you, grunting, making faces. But this time the laughter is weaker. The tribe chuckles, but the sound falters, fades. Some glance at you too long. Some chew slowly, eyes distant. The fire pops, startling them into silence. You see it then, clear as bone in sunlight. They laugh because they must, because laughter is the shield, but behind it lies something else, an unease, a question they dare not voice. Later alone by the river, you whisper to yourself. They feel it too. Your reflection ripples. Your own eyes, sunken and dark, seem to nod in answer. Not yet, not fully, but the sickness is not only yours. It waits in them, like a spark in dry grass. One day the wind will catch. The scraps grow smaller. The space around you grows larger. You are outside even when you are inside. Yet a strange strength rises in you.
for while they laugh to hide it, you no longer need to. You carry regret openly, like a wound that never heals. It bleeds, yes, but it also sets you apart, above, beyond. You see more than they see. You feel more than they dare to feel. And slowly, in the dark edges of their eyes, you see something new flicker toward you. Not kindness, not yet, but recognition.
The night is heavy, thicker than others. The fire burns low, fed with damp wood. Its smoke curls slow, sluggish, clinging to the cave ceiling. The tribe lies scattered, some dozing, some gnawing bones, some whispering. You sit apart, a broken shard of antler in your hand. It is sharp enough to cut, not flesh, but memory. You turn it in your fingers. The bone feels warm from your palm, soft in places, smooth in others. You bring it against another bone, a rib stripped of meat, long and pale, and press. The tip scratches. A thin white line forms. Not for hunting, not for counting, not for use. You carve only because you must. The line is crooked. It trembles like your hand. You press again, harder. Another line, then another. Crossed, bent, wandering. Soon the bone is covered in scratches, each meaningless, yet each heavy with the weight you cannot speak. When you stop, your chest feels hollow, but lighter, as if you have given something away. You hold the carved bone to the firelight. The lines glow faintly, shadows cut into ivory. The tribe glances, then looks away. They mutter, shake their heads, but a boy stares too long. Later, when the scraps are thrown your way, one piece is rotten, its fat gone sour, its smell sharp. The others laugh and toss it toward you as a jest, a cruelty. You pick it up. The stench burns your nose. The meat is no longer food, no longer useful. But you do not cast it aside. Instead, you rise, walk to the fire, and hold the meat above the flames. For a moment, the tribe watches with amusement. They grin, waiting for your foolishness to be revealed. You let the meat fall into the flames. The flames hiss, spit, devour. Smoke rises, acrid, bitter. The smell fills the cave, and the laughter fades. You do not eat, you do not speak. You only watch as the fire eats what you would not. Not a meal, not survival, a giving, a loss offered back. The cave stills. The children wrinkle their noses, cough. The hunters glance at one another, uncertain. Then the laughter begins, low, nervous. They point at you, muttering, jeering. But the sound does not last. Something unsettles them. The smoke clings to their throats, their eyes. The flames seem to flare, greedy, as if hungrier for flesh than ever before. And in the smell, in the bitter haze, something inside them stirs. They remember. They remember the last hunt gone wrong, the blood wasted in the dirt. They remember the child buried in shallow ground, their body given to the earth, their face fading too quickly from thought.
They remember meat spoiled in the heat of summer, thrown away with growls of anger, but never with reverence. They do not have your sickness, not fully, but for a breath, for a flicker, they feel it. A silence grows. You sit back down, the carved bone still in your hand. You trace its lines, and your heart beats heavy. You do not know what you have done. You only know it matters. Across the fire, eyes linger on you. Not all, not most, but enough. The boy sits close to his mother, yet his gaze is fixed. His lips part as if he wants to ask, to copy. A hunter frowns, rubbing his jaw, staring at the flames as if they have spoken. Even the old woman watches, her toothless mouth closed tight, her breathing sharp, her eyes reflecting firelight. The mocker laughs last of all. His voice is loud, too loud, breaking the silence like a stone against glass. He points, shakes his head, calls you a fool. The tribe exhales in relief, echoing his laughter weakly, glad for the return of what is known. But the silence lingers beneath. Like smoke that clings to fur, it does not vanish. That night, you dream again. You see the bone in your hand, lines glowing as if alive. You see the meat burning, not wasted, but taken, carried upward in smoke. The fire speaks in crackles you cannot understand, yet you feel meaning beneath sound. When you wake, your heart pounds with a rhythm older than words. You look at your hands, stained with ash, scarred with scratches from bone, and you know you have done something no one has done before. Not a kill, not a shelter, not a tool, a memory, a gesture to the world itself, a ritual. The next day, the tribe avoids you still. Their glance is sharper, more fearful. But at the edge of the fire, you find a rib bone, scratched faintly, clumsily. Not yours, not your hand. Another has begun to carve.
The days grow lean. The hunts fail more often than they succeed. The deer run farther. The traps spring empty. The tribe gnaws bones thin as twigs, licking the marrow, fighting over scraps. At night, bellies groan louder than the fire crackles. You sit apart, as always, the taste of smoke and regret heavy in your mouth. Your hands worry the carved bone, its lines deepened with each passing night. And then, soft movement at your side. A woman lowers herself beside you. It startles you, for she is not one of the quiet ones who sometimes stare at your strange acts in secret. She is one who once laughed loudest at you, who threw bones your way, mocking the silence you carried. Her hair falls unkempt over her shoulder, her ribs visible beneath her skin. Hunger sharpens her face, but her eyes are clear, restless. She does not speak, she only sits. Her thigh brushes yours, her warmth seeps into your arm. At first, you expect more mockery, a cruel trick played close. But she does not laugh. She only touches your forearm, her fingers hesitant, curious. Her thumb traces the lines of your bone carvings, the scratches etched into ivory.
You shiver, not from cold. When she finally speaks, her voice is low, nearly a whisper. You keep what is lost. You do not answer. Your throat closes as always, but her words stay, curling in your chest. The tribe eyes her from across the fire, muttering. A man snarls under his breath. The old woman shakes her head, yet she does not move away from you. She stays as the others drift into uneasy sleep. Later, when the fire dims, she leans closer. Her cheek nearly touches yours. Her breath smells of hunger, sharp and sour, yet her closeness softens the weight inside you. Your sorrow, she murmurs, it makes you strong. You do not know if she is right. Most days you feel weaker than the others, unable to bury what they bury. But in her eyes, wide and searching, you see something new. Not fear, not mockery, curiosity, and something warmer, fragile. When her hand lingers on yours, the fire crackles like a heartbeat. Your chest aches, not with regret, but with something else, something almost sweet. It feels like hunger, but not the hunger of the belly. It is softer, stranger, a hunger for closeness, for warmth, for the easing of the sharp edges of thought. In the dark, you let your shoulders fall against hers. She does not pull away. For a moment, you are not alone. For a moment, the sickness feels less like sickness. For a moment, love, thin, trembling, fragile like firelight, flickers to life. The tribe notices. They whisper when she sits beside you again, when her hand brushes yours without shame. Some mutter of betrayal. Others shake their heads as if she has caught your weakness, your strange disease of thought. Yet when the hunts fail again, when scraps are all that remain, she still gives you her share of marrow, pressing it into your hand without a word. The taste of it fills your mouth with more than food. It fills you with her. One night, in the silence between hunger groans, she asks you something. Her voice trembles as though the words are dangerous. Do you dream? You close your eyes. The carved bone presses into your palm. Yes, you whisper, though the word is rough, broken, almost lost. It is the first word you have spoken in many days. Her hand tightens around yours, and in her gaze you see that your weakness has become something else. Something she seeks, something she does not yet name. The cave is colder that night, but you do not feel it. Her warmth stays beside you, a fragile defiance against the hunger and the laughter of the others. And deep inside, you know. Love is born not in triumph, not in the loud cries of the hunt, not in the strength of muscle and bone. It is born in weakness, in sorrow, in the quiet space where two broken hungers meet. The air is brittle with hunger. The fire burns low, its glow swallowed by the damp walls of the cave. Around it, the tribe sits in restless silence, chewing sinew, gnawing gristle, staring at shadows. The nights are long now, longer than memory, longer than the ache in your stomach. It begins with a single voice. A young hunter rises, bones sharp beneath his skin, eyes lit with fever. His chest heaves, not only with hunger, but with something sharper, anger. He points at you. "Your sorrow makes you weak," he spits. His voice cuts through the smoke. "You will doom us." A murmur ripples through the circle. Faces turn toward you, some nodding in grim agreement, others only watching with hollow eyes. The woman at your side stiffens, her hand brushing yours. The hunter takes a step closer. His shadow stretches long in the firelight. You sit apart. You carve bones. You burn meat instead of eating it. You do not hunt like the rest of us. You bring sickness into the fire, and now his lip curls. You steal her. His finger stabs the air toward the woman. She flinches, but does not move away from you. The cave grows taut, every breath drawn shirk. A fight hangs in the air like a storm. The hunter steps nearer still, his fists clenched, his eyes gleaming with challenge. The others shift, preparing to see blood. You feel their hunger pressing on you, their rage, their fear. Once you would have met it with silence and turned away. Once you would have hidden inside yourself, waiting for the storm to pass. But now you lift your eyes, and you look at him. Not with anger, not with teeth bared or fists raised, but with weariness, with the deep, bone-heavy sorrow that has lived in you since the first regret took root. Your eyes hold his, not defiance, not fear, just the weight of regret, the ache of knowing that every strike, every choice leaves a mark that cannot be undone. The cave stills. The hunter falters. His arm trembles. His fury meets something it does not understand. He expected you to fight, to prove him right, to make blood of his anger. But you do not. You only sit, shoulders bent, gaze steady, as if the sorrow in you could swallow his rage whole. Something shifts. The old woman mutters low, but her eyes soften. A child leans closer to her mother, whispering, though his eyes remain fixed on you. Even those who despise you, who mock you, look at you now with something new flickering behind their hunger. Not respect, not yet, but pity. The hunter snarls, frustrated, his chest heaving. He lifts his fist, then lets it fall to his side. He spits on the dirt and turns away, muttering curses. No blood is spilled. The fire crackles. The tension uncoils, slow and strange. And you remain where you are, weary eyes on the flames, while the weight of their pity settles like a cloak around your shoulders. That night, as the tribe drifts into uneasy sleep, the woman curls close to you. Her hand presses against your chest, feeling the slow, steady rhythm of your heart. "You did not fight," she whispers. You shake your head. Words do not come. Her breath trembles against your skin. That is why they fear you, and why they cannot look away. For the first time, you understand. Your sorrow is not only your sickness, it has become your weapon, soft, silent, invisible. A weapon that does not wound the body, but the soul. And the tribe feels it, though they cannot yet name it. The fire gutters low. The cave breathes with the slow rasp of sleeping bodies. The woman beside you sleeps with her arm curled across your chest, her breath warm against your shoulder. But you cannot rest. The hunter's challenge still lingers in your bones like a bruise. The sound of his laughter,
The tribe's uneasy silence, the weight of pity that pressed down upon you, all of it churns inside you like rot. You rise, careful not to wake her, and take a stone in your hand. Its edge is sharp, broken, still smelling faintly of flint. You step toward the wall of the cave. The stone feels heavy, heavier than it should. You press it against the surface, rough limestone, cool beneath your hand. A line appears where you scrape, pale dust falling in thin streams. At first it is only a mark, a scratch, a wound in the wall. But something compels you to keep going. You draw the curve of a body, awkward, unsteady, but unmistakable. The fallen deer, its legs stiff, its head bent low. You carve again, the pile of wasted meat left to spoil in the sun. And then, the shapes of your people, bent in hunger, mouths open, hands reaching. The wall holds it all, the memory, the mistake, the regret. Your heart pounds as the lines take shape. You are not hunting, not counting, not leaving marks to tally prey or seasons. You are carving the weight you carry inside you, so it will not rot alone in your chest. Your hand trembles as you step back. The firelight flickers across the lines, throwing shadows into the grooves. The wall seems to breathe with what you have made. It is not beautiful. It is not skillful. But it is true. The first truth cut into stone, and it bleeds regret. A sound stirs behind you. You turn. A child has woken. His eyes are wide, reflecting the faint light. He stares at the wall, and at you, and then back again. He does not speak. He only shuffles closer, small fingers brushing the dust that has fallen at the base of the wall. He touches the carved deer, tracing its bent leg. Then he sits cross-legged before it, silent, as if to wait for the stone to speak. By morning others have seen. The tribe gathers in uneasy silence, staring at what you made. The young hunter sneers. "Scratches," he says, "useless scratches. You waste the night when you should hunt." But his voice carries no triumph, only unease. The old woman hobbles forward, touching the lines with her wrinkled hand. Her fingers tremble, her mouth opening as if to speak, but she says nothing. She only stares, eyes clouded with something more than age. The others shift on their feet. They murmur, they glance at you, and at the wall, then at one another. The woman who sat by you in sorrow steps forward at last. She kneels beside the carving, her hand resting lightly on the figure of the wasted meat. Her voice is quiet, but steady. He shows us what we forget. Her words hang in the air like smoke. Some nod, others turn away. The hunter sneers again, his jaw tight, but no one laughs. That night the fire burns higher than before. Meat is shared more carefully, bones sucked until nothing remains. The laughter is thinner, but the silence feels sharper, like stone cut by stone. And though no one speaks of it, the wall waits, the first memory carved in dust, not of victory, not of glory, but of loss.
the first art, and it is regret. For days after, you catch them glancing toward the wall, children most of all. Their fingers wander over the lines, retracing the shapes again and again, as though fearing the memory might fade. The young hunter avoids it, his scorn louder, sharper, more desperate, but his eyes betray him when he thinks no one watches. You have made something dangerous, a wound that cannot heal, a memory that will not die with you. In the dark, as the others sleep, you sit before the wall again. The fire flickers, shadows tremble across the lines, and you wonder, have you carved a warning or a curse? The stone does not answer. It only remembers.
The fire burns low, its glow licking the stone walls like tired tongues of light. The tribe has drifted into uneasy sleep. Bodies are curled against the cold. Children pressed to their mothers. Hunters sprawled in restless dreams. But you remain awake. The wall with its scratches looms behind you. The images faint in the dim glow, yet they throb inside your mind like fresh wounds. Your chest is heavy, heavier than hunger, heavier than the stares of the tribe. You feel it before you hear it, like the shift of air, like breath that is not yours. The fire pops, shadows shudder, and suddenly you are not alone. The presence hovers at the edge of sight, not a figure, not a form, but something that is. A weight pressing against your skin, a hush crowding your ears. Your hand curls around your knees, your heart races. Then you see it. The deer. Not as it lay in the grass, broken, blood soaking into earth, not as spoiled flesh swarmed with flies, but whole, standing before you in the half-light, its eyes black and endless, reflecting flame. Its antlers are branches of bone and shadow, reaching toward the ceiling of the cave as if to pierce the stone. It does not move. It only stares. Your lips tremble. Your tongue thickens. Words rise inside you, though you have never known them in this way. You whisper, "I took you." The deer blinks slowly, breath steaming into the fire's heat. "I wasted you." The words feel strange, like stones dragged across your throat. No one has taught you to say them. No one has needed them before. And yet you feel the shape of them form in the space between your chest and the shadowed beast. Forgive me. The cave holds the sound like a secret. Your voice cracks. You bow your head. Forgive me. The word trembles, awkward, unsteady, but it exists. And with it, something breaks open in you. Not hunger, not fear, something older, deeper, nameless. The weight that has crushed you since that first wasting seems to loosen, if only a little. The deer does not vanish. It lingers, swaying slightly,
its shadow stretching long and sharp across the walls. Then it lowers its head. Its gaze pierces you, not in anger, not in mercy, but in recognition. As if it too understands, as if your words have been heard. A sound chokes in your throat. You reach your hand toward the fire, palm trembling. The deer steps back into the flicker, dissolving, becoming smoke, becoming shadow, becoming nothing. You are left alone again, save for the crackle of flame and the silent marks carved on stone. But you know it happened. The world shifted. A line has been crossed. Before tonight, there were only kills, only flesh, only survival. Now, there is something else. A voice that reaches beyond the body, beyond hunger, beyond death itself. Apology. You sit trembling until dawn. When the tribe stirs, you do not speak of it. How could you? There are no words they would understand. But the feeling remains. A shadow in your chest, a seed in your blood. The first spirit has touched you, and you have spoken to it. And for the first time in the long history of the world, a human being has whispered into the dark, "I am sorry."
Days slip past, thin as smoke. The air grows colder, sharper. Breath hangs in pale clouds, drifting above the heads of the tribe as they move through the grasslands, through the forests, toward the kill. The hunts continue, but something has shifted. The young ones crouch lower, wait longer. The hunters tread with quieter steps. The women gathering roots glance more often over their shoulders, careful not to strip the earth bare. It is not fear, not entirely. It is something else, an unseen tether pulling them back before their hunger grows reckless. And you see it. They remember. Not with words. No word yet lives for mistake. But their bodies remember. The pause before striking. The way meat is divided more carefully, each hand receiving its portion, no one laughing too loudly as they eat. They remember what was wasted. They remember the night the children cried with empty mouths, though food had rotted at their feet. They remember you. Your place among them has not healed. They still glance at you as though you carry some unseen sickness. Their whispers are not words, but small, sharp gestures, a narrowed eye, a curl of lip, a laugh held too long. Yet, there is also a quiet mimicry. When the fire burns low and a bone is left too long in the flames, you catch one of them pulling it back quickly, as if shamed. When the hunters bring down a great elk, they divide it with solemn care, avoiding waste. No one says why. No one dares name it. But you know. Your regret has entered them. At night you watch them sleep, limbs tangled, bellies full, dreams unspoken. You wonder if the memory of the wasted deer will live on past you, past them, past this season. The thought clings to you. It gnaws like hunger, but not of the body. A different hunger. a hunger to hold on. And so you begin to carve again. Not just the deer, not just the wasted flesh. You scratch the lines of the hunters as they gathered, their mouths full but their eyes uneasy. You mark the shape of children with hollow bellies. You etch the fire that consumed what should have fed. It is clumsy, jagged, but when you step back, the marks speak, not in words, but in memory. Here is what happened. Here is what must not be forgotten. The others glance at your work, pretending not to look, but their eyes linger. A woman reaches out once, brushing her finger against the shallow grooves of stone. She does not understand, not fully, but she feels something in it. Perhaps pain, perhaps warning, perhaps memory. The days go on, more hunts, more fires, more nights in the cave, and slowly you notice the strangest thing of all. When they speak, or grunt, or gesture, or howl in laughter, they carry your regret in their movements. They glance at the fire when meat is laid upon it, wary not to waste. They pass bones to the children, marrow scraped clean. They hesitate before killing, as though the eyes of the beast might follow them into dreams. They have no word for this, but they remember. And so you understand. You are not only burdened by regret, you have given it. It has spread, quiet as smoke, invisible as breath. It has changed them. And in this you glimpse something vast. Memory. Not of the hunt itself, not of the taste of meat, not of the warmth of fire, but of the error. For the first time in the long, dark history of your kind, the past is more than a fading shadow. It is a wound carried forward. It is a guide. It is a memory. You lie awake that night, staring into the fire. Above you, the cave walls whisper with your carvings. Beside you, the tribe shifts in dreams. And inside you, the thought grows heavy, aching, undeniable. Regret has made them remember, and memory has made them something new. The night is cold. The fire hisses, spitting sparks that drift upward into the cavern's dark belly. The tribe huddles close, bodies pressed together, hands held out to the flames. Breath hangs thick in the air, mixing with the smoke, curling toward the stone ceiling like invisible hands. They eat in silence. Meat passes from palm to palm. Bones cracked, marrow sucked dry. For once, nothing is wasted. The fire burns low. Shadows grow long, and the ordinary sounds of the night, gnawing, muttering, the shuffling of bodies, fade into a strange quiet. And in that quiet, you feel something stirring. Your eyes fall on the wall. The carvings you scratched into stone days ago, the deer, the wasted flesh, the hollow-bellied children, glow faintly orange in the firelight. Their crude lines waver as the flames dance, as though the stone itself breathes. The tribe's eyes follow yours. One by one, they look to the wall. And for the first time, you feel words rise inside you. Not the sharp bark of command, not the grunt of hunger, not the howl of danger. Something else, something slower, something meant not to warn, but to tell. You lift your hand and point to the carvings. The tribe waits. At first, nothing comes, only the fire's hiss, only the ache in your throat, only the pulse in your chest. Then you begin. You speak of the deer, the great body, its fall, the feast it promised. Your voice is low, unsteady, but it does not matter. They listen. You tell of the waste, of the smoke and stench of flesh left too long, of children with nothing in their bellies, of the sharp pang that burned not in stomach, but in heart. And as you speak, you gesture, hands painting in air what the carvings cannot show. The deer running, the hunters striking, the meat spoiling. The tribe watches, their eyes fix not on the fire, not on their food, but on you. It is the first time they have heard words not to command, or to warn, or to name. It is the first time words are loosed from the strict chains of survival. You are not telling them what to do. You are telling them what was. A story. Their faces shift in the glow. Eyes widen, mouths part. They see it. Not the deer itself, not the fire that wasted it, but the memory. They shape it in their minds, making pictures where your words are thin. They imagine. A child leans forward, lips shining with grease, forgotten bone slipping from her hand. An old woman blinks slowly, nodding as though she recalls the same night, the same ache. Even the young hunter, the one who once mocked you, who spat at your sorrow, sits still, breath caught in his throat, no laughter rising. You feel their attention like heat against your skin. For the first time, you are not mocked. For the first time, they are with you inside the same vision. And as you finish, silence holds. The fire crackles, sparks leap and vanish. Somewhere outside, a wolf howls, distant and hollow. But no one moves. They are caught in the spell you have cast, though neither you nor they have words for it. You have given them not food, not fire, not safety. You have given them a vision, a memory made into sound. A boy breaks the silence. He points at the carvings, and in a stumbling rush of sound, he tries to echo you, imitating your gestures, your tones. He cannot shape it as you did, but the attempt draws laughter. Not cruel laughter, not the cutting laughter of mockery, laughter of wonder. The others join in, voices rising, repeating your sounds, your movements, adding their own. The cave fills with broken fragments of your story, scattered like sparks, reshaped by each tongue. The first retelling, the first myth. Something has begun. The story will not end with you. Already it grows, changing, bending to their memory, to their imagination. Already they are carrying it forward, holding it not in stone, not in bone, but in the fragile chambers of the mind. You watch them, heart pounding, breath shallow. You do not understand what you have made, but you know this: for the first time, the tribe has listened not to hunger, not to fear, but to you, to a story. And in their wonder, you glimpse a new truth. Your regret has not only carved memory into stone, it has carved memory into them. That night, As you lie among their warmth, you cannot sleep. Your eyes trace the fire's fading glow, and your mind whispers the story again, unbidden, like a rhythm, like a song. You see the deer, you see the waste, you see the tribe learning, and then you see something more, the future. A time when your story is told not only of the deer, but of the first sorrow, of you. A story about the one who carried the sickness of regret and turned it into memory. The first story will not be the last. It is a seed, and tonight it has taken root.
The hunt is good again. The tribe returns with arms heavy, faces painted by the glow of firelight, bodies alive with triumph. Meat hisses on the coals, fat dripping, smoke curling toward the stone ceiling in rich, sweet ribbons. Children gnaw at bones with eager teeth. Laughter hums low and steady, a rhythm of relief. The bellies that were once hollow are now full. The hunger has eased. But inside you, something has not. You chew slowly, each mouthful rich yet heavy, as though the meat carries weight beyond flesh. Others devour with abandon, yet even in their joy, you notice, they pause. They handle the food differently now. They cut with care, burn less, share more. The children are fed first, the elders second. The tribe has changed, and so have you. Even when meat is plentiful, you still see the carcass of the deer that rotted in the sun. You still smell the sour stench of wasted flesh, buzzing with flies. You still hear the cries of children, the hollow coughs of the old. Regret does not loosen its grip, not even in the presence of abundance. The ache stays. At night, when the others sleep, you stare at the fire until the shapes of flames bend into the shape of ribs, into hollow eyes, into shadows that accuse and forgive all at once. The ache is not pain, not sickness, not hunger. It is something stranger, a teacher, a shadow at your shoulder, a presence that follows even when the body is fed. You begin to see it in the tribe as well. The laughter comes, but it is softer, thinner. The boasting of the hunters is muted. When they strike true, but they do not kill more than is needed. When the young run wild with spears, the elders call them back, not with shouts, but with a glance toward you, toward the lines carved in stone, toward the memory that still burns. The ache has spread. It lingers in them too. One night, a hunter returns with a bird too small, its feathers still soft. He holds it out, proud, but the others murmur. Too young, someone whispers. The bird is cooked, eaten, but slowly, solemnly, as though they are tasting not just flesh, but the sharpness of mistake. They are learning, not only from hunger, not only from fear, but from the ache that regret leaves behind. You lie awake and wonder, if food is plenty, yet sorrow remains, what does it mean? You are no longer sure what life is measured by, not just by full bellies, not just by safe nights,
Something else has opened, something that cannot be closed. The ache has made you watch more closely, listen more deeply, walk more carefully. You cannot unlearn it, and now neither can they. You realize the ache is not meant to go, it is meant to stay, not to wound forever, but to guide, to whisper, to remind. The first fire burns out, the first hunt fades, the first feast is forgotten, but the ache endures, and in its endurance something new is born, memory that does not fade with the fullness of the belly. The ache is the thread that binds past to future. The ache is the first teacher that never dies. That night, as the tribe sleeps around you, bellies full and faces slack in the peace of dreams, you press your palm to your chest. You feel it, low, steady, quiet. Not hunger, not fear, the ache that stays, and you know it will never leave you, nor should it, because without it you would forget, and forgetting would mean becoming hollow again.
The firelight flickers against stone. Shadows dance, curling like smoke along the cave wall, and there, on the rock, your crude marks remain, scratches of a body that once lived, a deer stiff and wasted, ribs jutting, a circle of figures drawn thin, small lines for their hollow bellies, the memory carved into stone. It is not beautiful, it is not skill, it is warning, it is sorrow, it is the ache given shape. You kneel before it, tracing the rough grooves with your fingers. The rock is cold beneath your skin, the memory rough and unyielding. For a moment, you close your eyes and breathe in the smoke, the scent of meat on the fire, the warm bodies of your tribe pressed close in sleep. And you understand. The drawing is not for you. It is for those who will come after, for those who will need to remember what was lost, what was wasted, what was felt. The story is not yours alone. It belongs to all who must carry this strange new ache, the weight that does not leave even when the belly is full. You rise slowly, looking at the others as they sleep. Children curled into the arms of mothers, hunters stretched out, weary but alive. A woman's hand resting lightly on her child's chest, rising and falling with each breath. You listen. The night is quiet. The river murmurs outside, owls calling from the trees. The ache in your chest is still there, steady as the fire's glow. But for the first time, you no longer fight it. You let it sit inside you, let it shape you. You let it live. You whisper into the flames, though no word exists yet for what you mean. This weight in your chest, this ache that has no name, it will follow your children and theirs and theirs. It is the burden of being human. It is the reason we remember, the reason we love, the reason we suffer, the reason we survive by being together. The fire cracks, the tribe stirs. Dawn edges against the cave mouth, pale light spilling across the stone. And your drawing waits there, etched into the wall, the first story, not of victory, not of triumph, but of regret. A memory made so no one forgets, a story that outlives you,
And so, without knowing it, you have given the world its first inheritance, the ache that teaches, the memory that binds, the story that endures, the beginning of what it means to be human.